believe, but it has not happened yet.
And we now, because it's been cleared, we can definitely expect to see those Twitch stream numbers drop like a rock.
I don't know. I was watching Mr. Happy for a while today, and he had between 2,000 and 4,000 people watching him at any given
That's
time.
Mr. Happy.
I know, but like,
and
but the others channels there were a bunch with many hundred up to thousands of people watching.
yeah,
Like,
but Nika, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like Zeno and Happy both had like 6,000 people, and we're already down to 2,000. That is a huge drop off.
yeah, maybe. But I feel like also Happy had a good point that anyone who was actually going for a world first, like hardcore, was not streaming because you don't want to give away the little bits of information
Well,
that
yeah.
you would know ahead of everybody else. So really, people were just watching it because they were the visible names that were streaming.
Of course.
It's a really fucking insane fight. I've been watching a lot of it. It blows my mind. But from what it seems like, there are a lot of groups that are really close to clearing. Mr. Happy is only about 2 minutes away from the end, and he says that other streaming groups are about that close too. The JP groups, we don't really know where they are. So
How long is the fight?
the fight is around 16 minutes.
Is it
It's
60?
really long. Yeah.
How long is it compared to Ultimate Bahamut?
I think it's a little bit shorter.
Okay.
Yeah, so people were saying that this is like the reason people might have cleared this one earlier than because Ultimate Bahamut took 11 days to clear, this took 6. So people are saying that, it feels like this one is a little bit shorter. So that's why, because like when you think about it, even though it's only like Ultimate Bahamut's just a couple minutes longer than Ultima, progressing those last couple, like you have to progress one mechanic at a time. So when you think
Yeah.
about progressing like 3 more minutes of fight, that's a couple more days, So that's okay. Silent talk in chat says 15 minutes for Ultima and Bahamut was 19. Those are
That just sounds awful.
super. And now to compare it to your average like endgame raid, and raid is usually about 12-ish. So it's already much longer, and it's insane to watch. We do have an image. You want to pull that up of the team with the?
No.
I don't know about that.
Put it in there. I put it
I
there.
don't know how to fucking. All right, fine.
Well, I talk about it.
I got it.
So people I know were complaining that they didn't think the weapons looked that cool. However, when you put them all as a set like this, they look kind of cool. I think they look cool anyway. Their party setup seems to be Paladin, Dark Knight, Monk, Ninja, Bard, Summoner, White Mage, Scholar, and people are really excited that for once again the Ultimate Clear has a Dark Knight in it because apparently that's like anti-meta or something. So people are really
Dark Knights are garbage.
to see a Dark
These
Knight
weapons
clear.
look terrible.
What? Why?
Because you can't even make out half the details. They're all blinding
It's
white.
glowy.
That's horrible.
But aren't they the same models as one of the older weapons that we've had? Just glowing?
I think it's like
Is it?
it's the race like specific weapons because that Dark Knight weapon's definitely the one that's in the lore story.
That
But even then, it's
Paladin shield looks familiar.
Yeah, I think those are the class specific.
Are these
50
just-
weapons or something?
They're the
Are these
class
just
specific weapons
relics?
with glows.
Yeah, they're
cool.
just relics. Yeah, from
Oh, they're not.
says
They're
they're
class
relics.
specific ones. Oh,
That is
the
so
2.0
high.
relics.
They're all class specific. Nika.
Yeah, no, well, duh. I know. I mean, like
Oh my god.
the 2.0 relics. Okay.
That's so
this is
lame.
not cool. This is fucking lame.
They're-
Yeah,
I
what the
think they're cute.
fuck? Minimum effort, Square Enix. What the fuck?
Like I thought, at least they were kind of different weapons. I couldn't even make out the details on them, but now, yeah, they're definitely just the job specific weapons.
But they're glowy.
Yeah,
they're
they're
horribly glowy.
I mean, yeah, the glow is great. Like, don't get me wrong,
They
but
look cool as a set. Like if your entire party is just using these glowy weapons and you're like charging at something, that would be cool.
But you could also just buy a bunch of glowy weapons. and
But
do the
not what
same
look like
thing.
that.
Oh my
It's
god.
cool.
But why do you need glowy weapons?
Because this game knows that the bigger the glow, the bigger the cool. That's what
Oh,
14 is all about.
you know what Square Enix needs to get back? It needs to bring back glowing armor. I really miss that.
There's a couple of things you can buy on the board that have like glowies around them.
Yeah, that's straight from 2.0 shit.
Yeah.
I
They
think
haven't
I'm
done
gonna-
anything since then.
And highlight
you
your
don't think
character on the
that-
screen.
You don't think that once we can upgrade the Eureka gear that's gonna glow?
Probably
It
not.
better.
Yeah,
I
better.
assume that it would. Like right now we got the level 70 gear dyeable. Then the next set of Eureka will be a new style altogether, and then the final Eureka will be, or there's 2 more Eurekas after this, isn't there? But the final whatever Eureka will make it really glowy.
The final patch, you mean?
It'll be
No,
like
I don't.
slightly glowy, a little bit more glowy, and extra glowy. And
Yeah,
everyone's gonna be blind.
and also extra dyeable, so you can dye like 2 things on the armor.
This game sounds like it's gonna be so horrible. You're gonna just walk around and you're gonna have to turn down your screen because everyone's gonna be blinding you with their fucking gear.
I mean, that's good. I like that. I mean, it should be
You like
blinding.
that, but you don't like that you can't see details on the weapons because it's blinding. You like
that was
blinding armor. but not
Okay,
blinding
so
weapons.
the pinnacle of weapon design was the very first set of Palace of the Dead, where you literally just had a lightsaber.
It was just a light stick. You couldn't even see it.
It was so great. That got me so hype. And
What about the red weapons? Did you like those ones?
Nah, they were okay. They're not as good as the light ones, though.
So then, what's wrong with these ones?
No, well, I mean the fact that you can see like physical material on them. Like it should
Yeah,
just
but
be
they could
glow.
just be the same. No, that would just be the same
Just-
weapon as Palace of the Dead.
Well, no, because you can have extra glow effects coming off of the glow weapon.
But these are
Extra glowy glow effects.
They
like
need to
literally
have
the same
glow
weapons
on the
anyway.
glow,
Glow
so
coming
you
out
can
of the
glow while you glow, and have
Glow
your
while you
weapons
glow.
glow.
All right.
Also, so we're done with the weapons now. But I did bring up the Patreon exclusive Juxta postcard. You can see it on the screen right now. It's very wonderful.
Okay,
And,
I thought you brought that
Holy
up a
shit,
long
you
time
finally did it. I'm proud of you, Juxta.
I know.
Damn.
I know. I figured out how to do it. So there you go. And you can't get it. So be jealous. Hashtag hashtag digital exclusivity.
Do we want to talk a little bit about how
Looks
crazy this fight
Photoshop.
is?
Do you know how crazy the fight is, Nico?
I do know how crazy the fight is. I
I-
don't, but
I
I don't
hear
have a
you have to-
comparison to Bahamut because I didn't pay that much of attention to Bahamut.
I don't know if I want to talk about how crazy this fight is.
This fight is crazy.
I hear
Like-
you have to be woke.
You have to be super woke to do this fight. Like, not only do you have to be woke, but Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan have to be woke as well. It is intense. So, the basics of the progression went like this. So people started playing on Tuesday when the patch dropped, and they're like, "Wow, this is easy. We killed Garuda, we killed Ifrit, we killed Titan. Fuck, a lot of things are happening, and we just died and don't know why." So then people realized, oh, you have to actually like do specific mechanics within Garuda, Ifrit, and Titan in order to progress past the next phase to actually see Ultima himself. So people were able to kill all of the primals very quickly, but were unable to see Ultima himself. Because in each primal phase, there are specific mechanics you have to do in a specific way in order to woke the primals. So
That's
or to-
actually hilarious because if I understand correctly, like you get to after you beat all 3 of the primals, and then you see like Laha Brea, correct? And then he just wipes you if you don't have.
Well, I don't even know if you'll get to La Habrea because there is a bunch of other mechanics before that would wipe you. So there is, so you have to awake each primal, and then once you so basically after you awaken a primal, which is you get 4 stacks of this like I don't remember what the buff is called, thermal. No, that's a different
Like
thing. I don't remember what it's called.
ethereal,
Ethereal
ethereal
something.
butthole munching.
Yeah. So they get a charge of that. Once they get 4, they become awoken. Once you kill them with the awoken status, they drop what's it called? They drop beyond limits, and you have to give it to very specific people to
They
pick
drop
it up.
poop.
And what happens when you pick that up is that if a person with the beyond limits buff uses a limit break 3, you get another limit break 3 after that person uses a limit break. So once you get past all of the primals and you get to the ultimate phase, you have to use very specific limit breaks, and then the next person uses a limit break, and then the next person uses a limit break, and then you have to do 4 LB3s in a row.
I guess
It's-
it's kind of neat.
It is kind of neat. So once you break them all, the reason to like you can get to this point without them, but then you're like, oh shit, there's a bunch of those little safety bit things that Ultima summons, and they're all doing self-destruct. You need to use healer, or you need to use not healer, the caster LB3. You have to have a caster because they're in a circle. So you use the caster LB3, blow them all up. And then there's like a doom or something that goes on you, and you have to use the healer LB to erase all of that or something. And then you have to use the melee LB3 because that's when you get La Habrea shows up, and he's like resistant to everything except melee LB3. So you melee LB3 him. And
Oh,
then
very convenient.
and then oh,
Yeah,
I know.
right.
And then Ultima, you know how when Ultima shows up or like in other how their raid fights, you have to use like tank LB3s to protect you from big explosions when the big bad guy shows up. Yeah,
Right.
that happens. So Ultima shows up with a big explosion, and if you don't tank LB3, you don't survive that. So like literally all of those in a row. It's cool, and it's a mechanic that has not been used before.
It's kind of
So
it's kind of gimmicky, but it's also I feel like
but
it
it's
makes
gimmicky in a
sense.
challenging way because you have to awaken each primal by like not just doing the mechanic correctly, but doing it in a specific way, almost in a way that feels like you're feeling the mechanic.
Is it like an
It's-
order?
Yeah. So okay. So like I'll talk quickly on each one just in case people are curious. So like in Garuda, you know how there's like Spiny Plume, and Spiny Plume drops a bubble, right? So Spiny Plume in this one, you don't just stand in the bubble and be like, yeah, I'm safe from Garuda in this bubble. What the bubble does is it pops different stacks that your characters have on them. And the thing is that no, you can't just run in to pop your stacks every time you get one. The only way to give Garuda awoken stacks is to have certain players run in with they have to have 2 stacks of some debuff on them, and then you have to pop it with 2 stacks in order to give Garuda an awoken stack, and you have to do that 4 times in order to awaken her. So people are like, oh, I'm just gonna stand in this thing and pop all my things. That doesn't work. It has to be 2 stacks. For Ifrits, the nails come out. You can't just DPS down the nails. You have to actually bait the what is the little the ones on the floor. What are those fucking called in Ifrit?
Fire plume or Inferno?
Eruptions.
Eruptions. There you go.
The eruptions on the ground, you have to actually bait them underneath the nails. So if you just beat the nails down, like you think, oh shit, the nails are up, you got to beat them down so fast. No, you don't. You can do that to just progress, but you won't get very far. You have to drop the eruptions under the nail, and each nail has to have 2 eruptions dropped under it before you kill it. And then once you kill that, and then you have to kill them in a certain order because that determines the order that Ifrit like zooms around the room after that. It's really crazy.
Oh, okay, I get
There's
it
a
now.
lot.
Yeah,
But you have to. You can't kill the nails until they have 2 stacks of eruptions under them in order to awaken Ifrit. And then with Titan, you have to get him to stand inside of the puddles that the jails drop when they break. But the thing is that Titan doesn't move around because he's using like tumult and like stomping. So this is actually the coolest one. You have to drop. So there's a bomb out on the arena when the jails come out. And so what you do is there's 3 jails and you have to line them up in a row from the bomb to Titan. And so what happens is the bomb explodes one jail, which drops a puddle, which explodes the next jail, which drops a puddle, which explodes the next jail, which drops a puddle that awakens Titan.
That's actually really funny.
It is really cool, and it's like when you watch somebody do it, it's really intense because it's so fast. But you see people like they have to. By the way, you're like dodging a million landslides and shit while this is happening.
Of
right?
course.
So it's like your dodge. You see them all line up in a straight line, and it goes boom, boom, boom. It's like a chain reaction, and all of a sudden, then Titan like he has to stand in the puddle for the entire time because you have to get 4 awaken stacks, so he has to stay in the puddle the whole time to awaken him. And then you have to do all the limit breaks, and then you fight. Then you get to the actual encounter.
And then you can fight the
then
fight.
you can actually fight the fight.
Gosh.
Yeah. And only one group has so far been reportedly cleared it.
Is there anything special about Ultima considering all this other shit?
I mean, he's woke too. So the transition after you use all the limit breaks is you actually watch him devour each of the primals. Like he eats them. And as he eats them, he gets like wings and then he gets like different things. And then he has the woke buff. So all of his shit is stronger and like he does a lot of mechanics. I can't really describe all of them. I was watching Mr. Happy do them today and it was insane. Insane. Like he said he's about 2 minutes and 15 seconds away from the enraged. And it's just I don't know. It's really hard because like even still while Ultima is doing his own moves, Garuda, Titan, and Ifrit are reappearing, doing different things around the arena, or they'll just be like random shit on the ground from them. There's still jails going out. There's still like Tirada and Saparna show up and do shit. Like it's really like
so basically
I want to like bravo to the fight designers for this because this is intense.
Yeah, I'm glad it's just more than just Ultima because when people
it's so much more.
Yeah, when Square Enix first unveiled that it was going to be Ultima, like everyone was kind of but if it's also like Ultimate 3 Primals as well, then I guess that makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, and I think in the original Ultima fight, like Garuda, Titan, and Ifrit show up like once or something. Like their consistent presences, even after you've defeated them, even after he eats them, they still show up and do things.
Yeah.
So it's intense.
They could have done more.
What do you mean they could have done more?
Is it still a circle arena?
It is. But I will
They
say
could have done more.
the transitions are really cool. Okay, it starts out as Garuda.
The
and,
transitions are really cool. It goes from a circle arena to a circle arena
No, it
that
does.
becomes a smaller circle arena
No, it's cool though
and
because
then a circle arena.
the graphic design was really cool for it too because it starts out as Garuda and you know what Garuda's circle arena looks like. But then when you kill Garuda, Ifrit comes out and Ifrit's in Garuda's arena for the first two mechanics, and then Ifrit does this big eruption thing and then turns into Ifrit's arena. And then when you kill Ifrit, Titans comes out for the first mechanic. Then he does this big like grand explosion thing and then it turns into Titans. It's cool. I like it.
It doesn't make a lot of sense though. Like how
Why?
would Ifrit, because it's like Pokemon. Like why would Ifrit be in a like an air area? That makes no sense. He'd just be put out.
Okay, this is ultimate like woke Ifrit. He's woke, okay? He gets it. He knows how to be there.
Okay,
He
no,
knows how to
but
be cool with wind.
but-
Okay.
Smoked a joint. He's good to go.
that's not true because you have to make
Oh,
him
you haven't
woke,
woken him yet.
so-
That's true.
Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans on that reason.
I don't know why then. Because it's not like Pokemon because elemental weaknesses in this game don't exist. So that's why.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
That's the canon reason right there.
My immersion.
hmm
All right,
Yes.
so
But congratulations to Entropy, who I hear is also some members from Angered, who was one of the last world first clears. But anyways, they're called Entropy and they're on EU servers. And congrats.
is it worth it for like this to be like just a rehash of a fight? Because like I feel like it would have been probably more interesting if it was a whole brand new fight.
No, see, I agree, and I wonder how far they're going to go with this because people were kind of excited that they went back to Ultimate Coil Bahamut for the previous Ultimate, just because everyone has a lot of nostalgia for Coil.
Right.
And now they picked Ultima for this one, which is, I mean, it's cool. It is gimmicky, but it's cool, and I think the three, when it gives them to revisit the three original primals that we all, except for Mog, that we all really love. But I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure where they'll go from here. Like, I don't see them doing like Alexander Ultimate
I mean, like
or,
if you
or an
notice,
Ozma Ultimate.
if you
Yeah,
notice,
you
like
really had
there's
Ozma
there's like a theme between both the Ultimate fights in that they take a lot of the like for Ultima they have the three primals, right? So they're taking bosses from other bosses and putting them all into one fight.
Right.
And just like in Ultimate Bahamut, they took all three of the Coil bosses and threw them into one fight, Nail and Twintania. But with
Right.
With Alexander, you have Alexander.
But you could also use the
Oppressor?
other bosses.
Oppressor,
Yeah.
like he
you would
was,
use.
and Brute Justice. Those aren't like really that iconic compared to
That's
the
true.
other things. I feel like the only.
But I mean, but Ultima wasn't. Ultima also wasn't a raid boss. It was a primal fight, and so. I mean, then again, it was also at the end of the story dungeon, and then it became its own separate primal fight. Ultima was weird. So I don't know because they clearly don't have a pattern of having it repeat from raid bosses, even though that's what Coil was. Ultima is different, so they could really do anything they wanted. I think it would be cool to have it be a whole new fight, but I feel like the fact that it's not a whole new fight makes people who can't do it less likely to complain. Because people
that's
are-
a good point.
Because I feel like if they're like, oh, it's a whole new fight, I'll never get to see it. Whereas it's like, oh, it's just a harder version of Ultima, which I've already done. So I don't know.
But I feel
Like-
like the only like other like what thing can they combine to have like an ultimate fight? I feel like the only thing that's left is like maybe like a Garlean fight with like all the different Garleans, but that just seems like a big step down compared to
It
Ultima.
does. I mean, what
or
if they
Bahamut.
did something with like the Warring Triad and made an ultimate of those three somehow, or like
I mean, I guess you could do that, but that's also kind of stepping on Ultimate Kefka's toes as well, because you're essentially. I mean, you don't fight the statues again, but it's kind of going up the whole thing. Like I don't know.
no, because the Warring Triad was just based on FF6. It wasn't directly pulled from it. So I think because the Warring Triad in 14 has lore based in 14, so
you're-
I think that it's not stepping on Kefka's toes at all. I think that they'll either do something like that, or they'll find that, or they will just do like an Ultimate Alexander where you do fight like the original like end tier bosses. So Brute Justice and God, I don't even remember. It's been too long.
What the hell happened to the Ozma fight? Like they teased
Yeah,
that, like,
they did
way back
tease
when.
another Ozma fight, and then it didn't happen. But then if they were going to do an Ultimate Ozma, would they put other bosses in there too, like they did with these ones, or would they do something else?
Maybe during the Ozma fight, when you get sucked in, that's when you would fight the other bosses.
Thornton. I guess they could do an Ultimate Thornton with each of the Knights of the Round being different.
Actually have a battle that's not like rehashed from the old ones. Like, I'm tired of seeing like just recycled shit from the same games. Like, fucking come up with a new idea.
What game are you playing, Lloyd? That's all we have here, okay? You need to settle down.
But that's my huge contention with this, is like, these are good ideas, but like, when are they going to actually come up with their own ideas?
I think that's the problem, is that I don't think Square Enix is ever going to have like a new thing for the Ultimate fight, because this is like kind of like, quote, bonus content that we're getting.
Yeah, it is bonus content. But to be fair, again, I am still going to commend the battle writers, because while they are rehashing some of the mechanics and they're using the same like graphical images for the mechanics, the way you treat the mechanics are very different. And like they've never like having the whole idea of being able to pass by certain phases of the fight, but then realizing you missed shit, having to go back and then do mechanics in a certain way specifically in order to pass a phase. That's a whole new idea. They've never done something like that.
And
I think
I commend them. And it kind of wants me to come back and play that a little bit, but
you're never going to get to this stage, though.
No, I'm so far back I can't even come back.
Yeah.
Unless you guys buy me like a jump potion, since you like those so much.
I mean, buy it yourself.
But I'm poor. That's why I'm working for you.
Work harder to become a permanent host and get some money to buy your own jump potion.
See, there you go.
All right.
And in order to do that, you have to play Final Fantasy 14 and level up. So
so I have to pay to make money.
Yeah, that's what we did. We paid to play these games long before we made any money off this shit. So
I'm just giving you shit.
Run with it. Don't apologize. Don't back down.
Yeah, what the fuck? -1 point. -1 point for being a little whiny piece
Someone
of shit.
in the chat keep track of these points for us here.
Yeah.
I'm like at positive 100s, girls at like negative 100.
No. Because
what?
you know what?
-1 girls at like 0.
I thought this game was like, I win.
You didn't even link the entropy shit. You didn't even link the patch notes. I did that. Lloyd, where the fuck are you?
Wait, Lloyd decided to do a future discussion with pictures instead of text, so that hurt my eyes to read.
I think I'm winning the game.
I don't know about that.
I think have I apologized to you, Nika, even once?
No? I don't know. Probably not.
No?
You white knight for her all the time in the chat.
Bullshit. Like, no.
Oh god, it's like watching two retards slap each other. This is really
Speaking of Mr. Happy, he wanted me to let Anira know specifically that
you just said speaking of Mr. Happy after I said watching two retards. That's your words against your husband, Nika.
No, we were talking about
That's
Mr.
your
Happy
words.
Earlier. I'm just trying to progress conversation because we're not getting anywhere with this. That somebody gifted me a sub to Mr. Happy, and he wanted Nero to know specifically that I am now a happy sub.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if you weren't subscribed to your husband, I'd be worried.
I know. He apparently never heard that rumor either. There was a couple people in the chat when they saw me talking, me like, "Oh, you're here to visit your husband's stream," and like he didn't even know anything about that. And so I was like, "Yeah, there's all these like stupid LBR rumors that we're married." He's like, "What? You haven't heard that?" Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's heard it, but he's like, "Oh, I never heard that because I'm too
No,
big."
he seemed genuinely surprised.
Yeah, right.
But man, that's some crazy talk. Let me go post some things about me being married.
Oh God, no, Matt Joga, don't. There's a whole thing now with Japanese people